Hi, I'm Laura from 5 out of 4 Patterns, and welcome to the sew along and tutorial for the free pajama pant pattern from 5out of4.com. Now, we're going to embark on this journey of beginning and finishing this fun, easy, free project. Every adult in your life is going to be very happy when you present them with some awesome pajama pants. Now, you can find this pajama pant pattern at www.5out of4.com. This tutorial is going to be split up into 4 parts. Part 1, assembling the pattern and cutting out our fabric. Part 2, assembling and sewing the legs and pockets. Part 3, the waistband. And Part 4, hem and trim. Let's get started. So I'm ready for part 1. I've got my pattern printed and I'm ready to assemble. If you have any troubles printing, there is a guide, a printing guide in the tutorial, so take a look at that. And if you're still having trouble, we have at 5out of4.com some troubleshooting tips on exactly how to print and assemble your PDF pattern. Let's get started. Now you can see that right here on our pattern piece, the printer has kind of pulled the paper unevenly. That's okay, unless it's a huge difference, there's no need to reprint. It's just what printers do. Now, I'm sure you've noticed as I've begun taping this together that I only have one size printed. At 5 out of 4 Patterns, all of our patterns are layered in Adobe, so you can pick only the size that you need, or all of the sizes, depending what you're wanting. Okay, now that we've finished taping our entire pattern together, you have 2 options. You can cut it out as is, which is what I'm going to do, or you can trace it out as other people like to do. I'm kind of lazy maybe, but I just like to jump right in and get it cut out. So that's the next step. If you're doing pockets, this is the point at which you need to make sure that you're either cutting out the notches or paying close attention so that you know where to mark the notches on your fabric once it's cut out. I'm actually cutting the notches. All right, one pant leg all ready. Let's move that to the side. I'm moving to cutting out our pocket. Now you will notice there are also notches on this pattern piece as well. So again, you can cut out the notches as I'm going to do, or you just need to make sure that you're marking your fabric accordingly when you cut that out. Now that we're ready to cut out the front portion of the pants, we have two options here to cut the high rise or the low rise option. This is personal preference for the most part. It is recommended in the pattern if you're sewing for women that you do the low rise cut line, but it really is a matter of personal preference. Since I'm making these for my daughter, I am absolutely going to cut on the low rise. Now, you would think that the next part would be to cut our fabric out, but it's not. We need to check the finished measurements of this garment and decide if we need to leave it the same or if we need to adjust for height. Now, I need to definitely adjust for height, so that's what I'm going to do now. You can find a length and shorten line on each of these pattern pieces right about here. Now when I go to cut out my fabric, you can see there's a difference here. I'm just going to gradually taper it so that it matches. So from here, just kind of that way. All right, let's do the other part. Let's talk about fabric. This pattern was designed for woven fabric. So I have, because I love some pajama pants and soft, cozy flannel. That's what I've chosen for this project. Now this doesn't mean you can't use knit, but knit is going to give you a much looser fit and you might need to size down. So that's something that you'll have to play with and see, but I really love these in a nice, cozy flannel. Let's get ready to cut. I have a little tip for you. When you've got fabric that's long and hanging off the end of your cutting table or your table or whatever it is that you use at home, make sure that you are weighting it at one end. That way, as you're cutting, the fabric doesn't pull or become a little unmanageable. Especially with knits, it's really important with knits to have that stabilized. Otherwise, it stretches the fabric and then you're cutting wrong. All right, here we go. Pull this a little closer to me. Don't forget about your notches. All right, I'm going to fold this up and set it to the side. We're cutting 2 of the front and 2 of the back, but we are cutting 4 of the pockets. So I'm going to start right here. Move that in just a little bit. There we go. Two pockets done, and we'll move it to the next available space where it fits. And don't forget your notches. Let's move these to the side. Oh, and if you're anything like me, you didn't cut it all the way on this one. So go back, if you make any mistakes, go back, whoops, and fix it. And make sure you're cutting out the pattern pieces properly. Myself a little bit more room. I love using pattern weights because it just, once they're all down, it makes it easier to move for me personally. So that's why I use them. Don't forget your notches. I always have to remind myself about the notches. All right, that was simple enough. All of our pattern pieces are cut out. Now we're ready for part 2.